Ready? Ready? Oh, yep. Good afternoon, and welcome to today's Hamilton City School Board meeting. Mr. Frazier, if you could please call the roll.
President Matthews,
Here.
Mr. Davidson, here. Dr. Kopus,
Here.
Mr. Sprague,
Here.
and I will make a note for the minutes that Mrs. Baker is absent this evening.
Perfect, thank you. See, tonight we will be having an update from one of our buildings, Garfield Middle School. So we will turn it over to them for them to make their presentation that we are most certainly looking forward to. Podium's all yours, sir. You're welcome.
I'm not doing much talking for once. All right, so good. All right, so thank you guys for having us tonight and letting us highlight some things about Garfield Middle School. So those of you, I know I saw a couple of you guys, those of you that were able to attend the State of the Schools address a few weeks ago, there was one theme that I felt like was throughout the entire production, which was how are we as schools connecting our schools to our broader community? And so that was one goal that we thought of when we introduced the idea of revamping our student council at Garfield Middle School. I believe that the hardest part about achieving that goal is it takes a lot of work, a lot of planning, and it also takes a lot of leadership, not just on the part of the adults, but on the part of the students as well. So I believe what you're going to see tonight is our student council, under the leadership of two of our amazing teachers, has done a really good job this year of bridging the gap between Garfield and the Hamilton community. And I think during the presentation tonight, you are going to get to see that. So what we're going to start off with doing tonight is we are going to talk a little bit about what our original goals were of our Garfield Student Council. And to help me do that, I'm going to introduce our two teacher leaders who I've had the pleasure of working with in two different buildings in Hamilton City Schools now. Or maybe they've had the misfortune of working with me twice. But I would like to introduce our teacher leaders for Student Council. It is Rachel Ahonen and Jen Dixon.
Thank you. Yes, we were reunited here at Garfield. So when we sat down and we really talked about the values that we wanted to bring into this council, there were several things that we wanted to focus on as a group. And that was to build school spirit and community, enhance student engagement, and promote inclusivity and kindness.
We're also working to encourage community service and volunteering. We are in charge of planning school events, and we also develop leadership skills and responsibility. And one of our first big projects that we did was Garfield. We had our own student council elections, and Parker's going to explain a little bit more about that for us.
And Parker's sporting our shirt that the kids wear proudly around Garfield.
On November 8th at Garfield, we did student council elections. There were 3 elected positions: president, vice president, and secretary. We made posters to promote ourselves. We also made videos to explain why students should vote us. Here's an example.
Action.
Vote tonight for vice president.
Action.
Students were brought out by student council members to vote during lunch. They received an I voted sticker when they were done. Here are some pictures from that day. Now, Colton Lynch will tell you about other events we did.
We were invited to attend a city council meeting. We got to talk about our election process and how student council is helping to make Garfield a better place to be. We did a toy drive. Council members collected, organized, and wrapped donations brought in by staff and students. Donations were privately given to identified families the week before we left for holiday break. Here are some pictures of when we wrapped the presents. We also volunteered at a community event, Chris Kindle Mart. We helped clean up trash, escort kids through a scavenger hunt, and sold refreshments. Here's a video of that.
So we're here tonight from Garfield Middle School, and we got our student council members with us, and we wanted to get them involved in the community, so we have them here tonight at Chris Kindle Market. What we want to do is we want to obviously build them into future leaders, not just leaders in the school building. So in order to do that, they have to see things that leaders do in the community, including getting involved in these events, getting out into the community, and interacting with the community. The students' response has been great. I really don't have to coach them at all, and neither do the teachers. We have some really great leaders already in our student council. Our president's here tonight, Sam Perez. She spoke at city council a few nights ago and did a wonderful job.
I figured I joined the council for a reason, and I wanted to come help out my city.
This year, we have 2 new teacher leaders that took over our student council, Rachel Honan and Jen Dixon. All I charged them with was to get the students more involved in the school and also get the students more involved in Hamilton at large.
The people are really nice. It's definitely a community, a good community. They make you feel at home.
So we're here tonight from Garfield Middle School, and we got our student.
I would like to now pass it on to Sam Perez.
Hello, my name is Sam Perez, and I'm the president at Student Council. Adriana Reyes represents 17 Strong at our Student Council meeting. Students were introduced to organizations and given ideas on how our council could get involved. Upcoming events: neighborhood cleanup using the cube, 4th quarter incentive day with the cube 2, lawn games, and other activities that will serve as a motivator for students to have strong attendance and grades in 4th quarter to end the year strong. A few months ago, I was invited to be on a Latino Youth Leading the Way panel by Adriana Reyes. On that panel, I got to talk about how it is being a Latina in Hamilton. And I got to talk about how us as a Latino community, how we feel in Hamilton, how we can feel more welcomed. And I'd like to pass it to Mr. Marjam.
All right. First off, let's give a round of applause to our students. They did a phenomenal job. This is probably the easiest one of these presentations I've ever done because I just let them do it. So I'm going to elect for them to do it every other time. All right. So I want to talk a little bit more about what Sam just showed you in that last slide at the Neighborhood Summit for 17 Strong. This was a picture of us after that event, and also joining us there is Ariana Harris, and she presented for the Boys and Girls Club actually at that Neighborhood Summit as well, and she's a Garfield student. Since Sam is not going to brag on herself, I am going to, just to tell you how incredible of leaders these students are. She was the only middle school student represented on that Latino panel. Out of 4 students that were up there, there was 3 high school students that were juniors or seniors, and then Sam as an 8th grader. And you would not have been able to tell that one of those students was a middle school student. She was incredible. We couldn't say enough good things about it. And also, we were just talking about this. It was a panel complete. They had a question and answer session, just to give you the format of this. And we had a packed house. The whole classroom was full of all adults, and they had to answer their questions live on the spot, which would be intimidating to even us. And there was a couple controversial questions asked. I'm just going to be honest with you. The way that Sam handled that was better than I've seen most adults handle those things. These are the skills we're trying to teach students through these programs, and these students are helping lead that because those are the skills that are going to make them successful when they leave school. We know that. We say work hard and be a good person every day at Garfield. Those are the things that are choices that we want our students to make. Every student can make that choice, and these students have been making that choice, and I really wanted to celebrate them tonight. And I also want to celebrate all of the other students that make up our student council. This is kind of our credit screen, if you will. And now I'd like to open it up. Speaking of a panel, I'd like to open it up to questions for you guys. So we thank you for letting us join you tonight, and thank you for letting our students present as well.
Well, thank you so much for the presentation, and thank you, Council, for coming out and sharing. I guess my question would be, how has being a part of the council, how has it impacted your life personally?
President.
Yes, president to president.
When I got invited to be on the council, it definitely felt like an opportunity for me to be involved in the community, and being on the panel just made it better. And ever since I was younger, I always wanted to be a leader for my peers. And I knew if I did the right thing, others would follow and they would do it too. So that's why I did that.
Sweet. Well, it definitely shows and definitely exuding here. So it's so great. And I thank you for your leadership and your enthusiasm to want to be a part of this community. So love
Thank
it.
you. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. I'm a Griffin. I'm the golden, red and gold.
Just briefly, I just have comments, really no questions. It looks like the future is in good hands with our leadership. I'm very impressed with your whole process. I think it's neat how you do the elections, and they actually, a ballot box where they go in. What looks like where I go when I vote. So it gave them the real experience. And as some of the board members will tell you, I'm all into research. I'm always looking at different things. And there are articles out there in research when you have a strong student leadership in a building. The students take ownership of their building. You have less discipline problems, and you have a tight group of students. And I think you have that over at Garfield. I think you have great leadership in your building, and I commend your two teachers who have taken that on. You're doing a great job, and keep it up.
I guess I have a question, if I may. Were you guys in student council last year? Or was there a student council last year? Maybe I should ask that.
Seventh graders.
Well, then you weren't in, no.
However, they were at their elementary school, right?
Your student council. So with the changes that you made, are students more involved with student council this year than you saw in the past? Is that work? I mean, it seems like kids are really excited. If you've got that many students serving on student council, you've got a good thing going.
Yeah, I will say the excitement around it is definitely more than we thought it would be. And part of it is for some of the events we're showing there, and that only scratches the surface. They're doing all sorts of other stuff too. I think just more kids want to be involved in that because they're seeing on our school news and everything that's going on with student council. They're also helping support like our dances and other things like that.
Well, most times you think of student council, they put on the dances and stuff. I think this idea of reaching out into the community and going to all these different activities is, I just applaud you guys for doing it, because it's not easy to do when you're dealing with adults. And it's kind of scary. It's kind of scary. We're scary people. I hate to say it, but we are. But having that opportunity is going to serve you guys so well. And Josh, I want to just thank you, Mr. Marjoram, excuse me. I want to thank you for your hard work with them, because I know what'd you call me? But I think this is what Garfield needed, that shot in the arm, and for kids not to just look into the building, but how can they be involved in our community. And it's a wonderful thing. I'm seeing more and more schools going that direction. It's a great thing for us to see. So thanks, kid. I really appreciate you guys coming in and speaking to us scary people sitting up here. And now you can go home and watch it on TV Hamilton. So, and by the way, TV Hamilton did a really nice. That was a nice
We
one for
appreciate
you.
him very much for coming.
Yeah.
And I did want to say too, we had over 500 Garfield students come through our voting. So,
Wow.
I mean, weeks before, that was just one commercial. Our media team that we have, which is a whole class at Garfield, ran by Sam White, she helped film commercials with the kids. They had posters everywhere. They were getting on the announcements talking about things. Like, kids were so invested and
Good.
engaged in the process. So when they started coming through the booth, they were like, and then we had it where they could look at, but over 500 kids voted that day. And so these leaders were truly voted by their peers.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
And that's hard to do. I mean, being elected officials ourselves, you don't know where you stand. You really don't until you see the ballot. And you say, "Oh, I'm on the ballot," and then get elected. So I hope that you all will want to be here sometime, to be part of your schools and lead direction or in your community, because I will tell you, we are all looking for future leaders in Hamilton. And I hope you guys really consider that. Thanks, guys. Yeah.
Principal Margarine, just a couple comments and a couple questions. First of all, thank you so much for what you're doing. I know you're doing a great job there. I've had an opportunity to visit a few times, and that's just a pleasure. I want to ask way in advance your permission to attend your veterans event again this fall, assuming because
you're always welcome.
Well, I mean that's very impressive. I really enjoyed that, and thank you for that. I'll certainly be there. I want to say to Mrs. Ohanan and Mrs. Dixon, correct? I truly appreciate your involvement with student council. And like Mrs. Matthews and Mr. Sprague and Mr. David mentioned, anytime you can have student engagement paired with community engagement, that's just part of the winning equation. So that's a great idea. For the young lady on the left, is it Parker? Okay, Parker, Colton, and Samantha. I'm going to put you on the spot here. I have a very important question for you. How many different schools in the Hamilton City School District have you attended? 2, probably? 3, maybe? 2? All right, here's the question. Now, think about this before you answer. Who is your favorite principal? Well, maybe don't answer that then. But anyway, Principal Marjoram, thank you so much for what you're doing. Garfield's in good shape.
Yeah, to the entire Garfield team tonight, I just want to thank you, Ms. Dixon, Ms. Ahonen, Mr. Marjoram. I know you've got many team members out here supporting you. You can see the passion. I always believe that our kids are our future, and we are in great hands. To Sam, I know you're going to be a freshman next year, and I've got you on a very short list to join a superintendent advisory team. I want to hear from you. What are things that we need? And to Parker and Colton, as you hit that high school level, I want to know your thoughts. And I want to know how we can continue to get our students involved, because I believe when our kids are connected and believe in what they're doing, it just makes the whole world better. So it was a big deal to stand in front of all of these people tonight. And Sam, I also presented at the summit, and it was terrifying. So the fact that you did such an amazing job, I couldn't be more proud that you are part of our district. Keep changing the world every day, and we just appreciate the work that you're doing. So thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you, guys.
It's nice to see parents here, too.
Yeah. And again, thank you all for being here. Thank you, parents, for being here. We appreciate it. Yep. Absolutely. Thank you again.
I think Mom was nervous for you. She prepares.
Oh, yeah. She was making Mom ask her all the questions.
We were reciting for
Amazing.
She's getting better, because this time it was only like 2 days before, but usually it's like a week or 2 before.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here and leading. We appreciate it. So I'll consider a motion to adjourn into executive session.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Mr. Frazier, if you can call roll.
Mr. Davidson?
Yes.
Dr. Kopus?
Yes.
Mrs. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Sprague?
Yes.